Welcome to the Midday News. The people of Ulatapun village in Bogye district of Madang province have been hit hard with the swelling of the Kumil River swell. Located at the river's source, this entire ward had the highest number of houses washed away, all food and cash crops destroyed, infrastructures damaged along with private properties during the floods.
Villagers in Ulatapun in the Ward 30 area of Almami LLG Bogye district are moving further inland to start new lives after the Kumil River destroyed much of their livelihood last week. Kumil broke its banks and washed away food gardens, homes and other personal property in its path. Leo Rassis, a catechist with the Ulatapun Catholic Church, nearly lost his whole family to the flood. They escaped the floods by swimming to safety, taking with them only the clothes on their backs.
Ground broke because on 3 block garden no gata mi walking landslide. Karena floor gata kai no gata. No mista portion. O gata buai belum yang finish. Orang bagara floor gata terus.
Ulatapun Primary School also went underwater. Classrooms, teachers' houses and other school facilities. Head teacher Christopher Papi suspended school for the next 3 weeks to allow the Provincial Disaster Office, who have done an assessment report, to get feedback from state authorities about relief and restoration. Meantime, Kumil continues to erode the banks. The school area is at threat of being completely washed away.
5 meters high something or something. Nikla crossing wara go come inside loyana movie mo pizza na bungalow raised or house. O pizza sleep no night stuff na wara kam go inside am go ono sawe tu. Wara go anta blow no call kiravia wara is what is already.
The Provincial Disaster Office completed its disaster needs assessment at wards 29, 30 and 31. Over the weekend, they headed to Ward 33 at Korak Village to establish the cause of death of a 10-year-old allegedly caused by the flood. Stories from the media have reached the Red Cross. Provincial Disaster Director Rudolf Mongali said Red Cross reached out and has committed to assist with tarpaulins for survivors to use as shelter. Salome Alman, TVWAN News.
A team from the Dulos Hope visited Cheshire Home last week, bringing smiles and encouragement to children and staff through a small outdoor program. The crew introduced the ship and shared about their different cultures and home countries before spending time telling stories and playing games with the children. For one team member, Rocco, the visit became especially meaningful after he quickly formed a friendship with one of the children. At the end of the program, he gave the child his Dulos Hope hat as a reminder of their special moment together. The visit is part of the ship's outreach in every port, where crew not only welcome visitors on board for the book fair, but also go into communities to share hope, friendship and learning. 25-year-old Jemima Tavol is embarking on a journey of a lifetime. She is traveling to Australia to become an aged care worker. Sitting quietly in the Leigh City Authority office with her proud mother, the young woman of East New Britain, Morbe and Madang descent waited patiently to sign her oath and declaration under the Leigh Labour Mobility Programme. Under the Leigh Labour Mobility Programme, 25-year-old Jemima Tavol is in Sydney to work at Southern Cross Care. She was accompanied by her mother, Jenny, to the Leigh City Authority office on the afternoon of Thursday, February 19, 2026, where they both signed the necessary documents as a final requirement before leaving Leigh over the weekend. She had applied in 2023 to be considered under the Leigh Labour Mobility Programme. after she was unable to secure employment since graduating from the International Training Institute in 2020.
Nervous and excited at the same time with all these new possibilities, and you don't know what to expect when you go down there, but it's like a whole total different environment from what you know growing up. So it's like come whatever, what may, come what may. I'm gonna be going for aged care. I'll be working for Southern Cross Care Queensland, but in New South Wales, Sydney. Yes, for 4 years.
Jemima has been taking care of her 75-year-old grandmother since leaving school. However, she is mentally preparing herself for a higher level of support that she will be giving to Australians who are around her grandmother's age and older.
Yeah, it's like it's my grandma, someone I grew up to know. But over there, it's like you have to have a lot of patience and be actually like mentally prepared. I'll be going down and start training, probably like shadowing someone, and then up to 3 months, 6 months probation. Then after that, they'll let me know what to do.
Jemima's mum, Jenny, who is an officer with the Lay Labour Mobility Program, expressed her excitement that her daughter is a successful candidate, clarifying that the employer in Australia makes the selection and not the Lay office.
Being one of the Lay Labour Mobility Officer, I sent so many candidates down already, like train them, and one of the most important thing is we tell them we market them. We take their photos and tell them how to dress up well, and then we do up their worker profile, and then we send it to PNG, Lay Labour Mobility in Mosby, and then they market them to the companies. So it's like when there is a position vacant, that's when they come back to us and tell us that we will need 20 or 10, that they gave us the number of candidates.
Jenny described her daughter as independent and true to her faith, adding that out of her 4 children, 3 of whom are boys, she has a lot of trust in her daughter and believes that she will make them proud. On Monday, February 16, 2026, Buimo Prison witnessed history as 43 inmates at Lay's Buimo Prison graduate from the Crossroad Bible Study Program. Sponsored by People and Government of Australia, the initiative highlights the growing role of faith-based education in rehabilitation across the Pacific region. Pacific Region Operations Manager Alan Poyner congratulated the graduates and praised their commitment to personal growth. Prison Commander Chief Superintendent Michael Bundia urged the graduates to be the light in their families and communities when they leave prison. The ceremony symbolized resilience, reintegration, and leadership. Busloads of residents from the recently flooded top-end community of Nauiyu returned home early this morning. They are among hundreds who began sheltering at a Darwin evacuation center more than 2 weeks ago, after the Daly River flooded their community.
Way ticket. Home at last. The residents of Nauiyu, all smiles, finally back in their community after evacuating from a major flood.
It's good to be back home.
How are you feeling to be home?
Good.
Yeah? The community, almost 3 hours' drive from Darwin, is home to more than 200 people, and they've been sheltering at an evacuation centre in the city for the past fortnight. All residents were quickly evacuated as warnings that the Daly River, which you can see behind me, it wraps around the edges of the community, would flood, and it did. It hit major flood levels, more than 14 metres. As the Daly River hit its peak last week, the waters began to slowly recede, and damage assessment teams began their work. For some, living out of suitcases and sleeping on stretcher beds was a hard few weeks.
Never felt so homesick before, being so far and for so long.
What's the rest of the day going to look like for you?
We'll be going back to normal, going out fishing.
The Daly River's levels are now considered safe, but did rise to at least knee height in some homes.
So there's been efforts to clean houses that were inundated by water and also to restore power to properties that had been either withdrawn from their power or had been affected by the floods.
As the unpacking begins, the cleanup continues.
We're going to go back and clean our house, get everything back to normal again. We're happy to be back home after 2 weeks away.
The extent of the damage is still unknown, but so far most homes and structures have fared well. Everyone here is just happy to be home safe.
Pakistan's military has claimed to have killed at least 70 militants in airstrikes against neighboring Afghanistan. Afghanistan's ruling Taliban said the claims of militant deaths were false and that women and children were killed in the strikes. The Taliban's defense ministry said it will deliver an appropriate and calculated response to the Pakistani strikes. The attacks left at least 18 people dead, including children. Afghanistan said and were the most extensive since border clashes in October that killed more than 70 on both sides and wounded hundreds. Islamabad said it hit 7 sites along the border region, targeting Afghanistan-based militant groups in response to suicide bombings in Pakistan. And in sports, cricket PNG head of high performance and Barramundi's head coach Tin McCaskill has revealed that the PNG Ciales under-19 women are confirmed to host the global qualifier in Port Moresby in April. Exciting news for PNG to qualify for their first World Cup. The event, featuring other Pacific cricketing nations, is supported by Pacific Oz Sports and part of the qualifying process towards the East Asia Pacific qualifiers later in the year. Makalski said the under-19 Garamuts are also aiming for Vanuatu later in September to qualify as well. The Barras head coach expressed confident, especially the attention to detail shown by players at training as they prepare to represent the country with pride.
They're playing a global qualifier here, the EAP Global Qualifiers, hosted by PNG Cricket. So yeah, that's confirmed. So for all the cricket lovers out there, make sure that you've got April in the diary and that you're coming down to support the Cialas and watch them make history and qualify for their first World Cup. The Lewas, they've got some competitions later in the year because we didn't get the result we were after in January. It means that the planned schedule for June now changes. And then for the under-19 Garamuts, they've got a qualifier in Vanuatu later in the year in September. So we've got lots of exciting things to plan for, and the aim is to qualify for every event that we're presenting in.
And finally, South Africa crushed India by 76 runs in the Super 8 phase of the T20 World Cup. In the day's earlier match, England defended a modest total of 9-4-1-4-6 to defeat Sri Lanka by 51 runs. Choosing to bat in a rematch of the 2024 World Cup final, South Africa surged to a commanding 7-4-1-8-7, following a remarkable recovery from a precarious 3-4-20. In reply, tournament co-host India's timid top order faltered swiftly, and their innings never quite escaped the grip of scoreboard pressure. They were bundled out of 1-1-1 in 18.5 overs on Sunday, slipping to their first defeat of the World Cup. The Super 8 phase continues today with Zimbabwe versus West Indies. And that's the Midday News. Do join us at 6 for more.